Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Syllabus for a Hero's Life. In this one, we're going to be going over the spirit, which encompasses love, bliss, and the observer, and everything else. So, let's get into the purpose of this section. The purpose is to strengthen the observer, increase inner bliss, and presence so that all of our effort is more natural and less forced. And there's no specific style that is needed for this. It were just whatever methods work for you to increase your presence and bliss in life. So let's kind of talk about what the observer is. The observer is awareness, noticing this experience without getting all caught up and tight into it. It's not detached, it's just intimate and spacious. So we want to make it so that you are experiencing life ideally always from the observer. But right now we're just going to try to increase the amount of time in your day that you are in the observer so that you can, for example, feel sadness without becoming only sadness, and you can have joy without clinging to it. This being able to not cling to the thoughts and the feelings that arise, if we're going back to our grocery store metaphor, it allows you to keep going down the aisle without getting snagged and caught on everything that pops up out at you. So with that, let's talk about spectator mode versus possession mode. So a real easy way to imagine it, if you've ever played video games, is there's different POVs that different video games have. So possession mode is kind of like when you're fused with a video game character. You're only seeing out of that character's eyes. Whereas spectator mode, you're more third person. You're able to be aware of the character. And that's the observer. That's where the observer is. It's in that third person perspective. And when we're there, suffering isn't even possible. So right now in this section, what we're going to do is we are going to write about when we know what it feels like when we notice that we are in our observer, because you've likely experienced it before, whether in a flow state or in a moment of extreme happiness or relaxation. You've likely felt it before. So fill it in what you've a time when you have felt that you are in the observer. So for me, I live here in the jungle, and there are so many ants and so many bugs and stuff. And the number one way that I know when I am in the observer is when a bug is crawling on me. Instead of feeling like attacked or like annoyed by it, I'm super curious about it. I'm like, whoa, how did the ant even get here? I wonder where the ant is headed. Or, whoa, the fly has so many cool colors in its wings, instead of it being like, why is there another fly here? Which both are totally valid experiences, but the observer isn't feeling persecuted by life. And that's just like an easy example. So what is an example in your life where you were able to take a step back from something that normally would have upset you, but in that moment you're able to approach it with distance, and then it became something else in your experience? And then we kind of want to do the opposite. What is a situation that totally put you into possession mode, like put you straight into, locked into your personal point of view? For me, it is 100% failure. Like, I could just write that 100 times. It's anytime there is any sort of failure on my end, I immediately get like zoomed in, like as zoomed in as I possibly can, and it's very hard to get like an objective third-party observer viewpoint on everything. So for you, what is it? Is it judgment? Is it sadness? Whatever what pulls you deeper into possession mode. So then next, let's see. We have what changes when you, in between those things, when you go from one to the other, what is changing? And for me, it is curiosity. When I feel like a failure, or when I feel super heavy and tired, I am so uncurious. I don't care. I couldn't possibly care about the mysteries of the world or about anything except for what I'm feeling. But when I'm in that observer space, it's all curiosity. And it's not this attaching curiosity of like I need to know the answer, which happens a lot when like I fail at something. It's just a pure like childlike wonder of like, whoa, just whoa. So what changes for you when you go between that transition? So when I notice I'm the observer, it feels like, so what does it feel like for you? We answered that up here. So put it again, I guess. So now the fun part. I most easily access this knowing of the observer when I do what? For me, it is writing, chanting, and eating. These three things make it so easy for the observer, and I want to clarify, we're not channeling or creating or reconnecting to the observer. The observer is there 24/7. We are observing 24/7. What these activities, like for me, writing, chanting, and eating, do is they remove the illusion that we are not observing our life. So access this knowing is not accessing another state. It's accessing the awareness that state is currently present. So write any activities that help you remember. So then next we are going to turn this access into a practice, a self-curated practice, so that we can continue that knowing and that return to the observer. So the simplest way that I can return to the awareness that I am the observer is writing and chanting. We're repeating ourselves from up there, but that's okay. So now I will practice this return for me as often as I can. Truly, that I want to be doing it as a core sort of practice. But you can say you're just going to practice it in the morning or whatever works for you. So then frequency, brief, multiple times a day, and duration for me, at least 5 minutes. With my school schedule being pretty much all online and my volunteer schedule and my work schedule also all online, it's very easy to like, I have to go to the bathroom. I guess I'll just also add on an extra few minutes to do some chanting. Everybody's schedule is obviously very different. I'm in a very privileged state where I can just like kind of decide to stay up late and do schoolwork later and just kind of put in all these pockets of practice. So just find out where you can plug it in for your schedule. And how will I know that this is working? I will know it's working when my thoughts and my judgments and everything we're going to go back to that bug analogy. When my experience of my thoughts and my mind no longer feel overwhelming and my relationship to them shift from resistance to pure curiosity. So write down what you will feel, how you will know that your observer practices are working, are helping you reach your goals. So meditation training, this is the next section, very fun. You likely already know about meditation, so I won't go too in depth about what meditation is. It's a very pop psych concept now with social media. Basically, we just want to create presence in our lives, because this moment, creating moments of presence, will make all the other goals in the syllabus much easier and remove the resistance. It adds lubrication to the system. So choose your meditation styles. That's just whatever styles really work for you. For me, it is mantra meditation. That's like my jam. And then I also do a Tonglen meditation. And lately, I've been really struggling, but trying, like in the first syllabus, to do my one-pointed meditation. I did not spell anything correct. That does not matter. Okay, so the minimal amount of practice. So we're not going to be setting our goals for like the moon. I'm not we want to do the smallest version that we can do on hard days. On good days, we're going to be expanding it and going crazy with momentum, super awesome style. We already know that. But on the hard days, when we don't want to do our meditation, what are the requirements that we're going to create for ourselves? So on a hard day, I will require myself to do at least 10 minutes of the first two kinds of meditation, and then 5 minutes of the one-pointed meditation, because the one-pointed meditation is so hard. But because I can still get those presence benefits in that short amount of time. So depending on your meditation, depending on your experience with those meditations, and depending on your goals, this minimum viable practice at time will be highly specific to you. So just decide that. Next, we have common obstacles and skillful responses. So this is just basically a way to prepare for when these things happen, because not every day is going to be an easy day. So when my mind is reeling and racing, I didn't copy. Basically, when the mind is racing, I will shorten my practices and emphasize mantra, and so on. So when basically you just want to create in your mind, basically we're telling our subconscious right now to remind us in the moment that when our mind is racing, or when I feel numb, or when these emotions arise, what should I do? Because right now, its plan of action is likely to tap out and finish and get out of there. But we don't want that to be the case, because we want to build momentum with these things. So we got to give ourselves other viable options. So when I feel numb or bored, I will play music. I will play some whatever music is in the album choice, and that undercuts the meditation just a slight bit, depending on your kind of meditation. But if I still am doing the meditation with it's like adding training wheels. It's not as good as riding your bike on your own, but if you're riding the bike, you're riding the bike. So basically, just come up with a few strategies for these different things and anything else that might come up for you, so that when you're in the moment and you feel like tapping out, a part of you can remember, oh yeah, we have a plan for this. Next, and the very most fun section, this is bliss. Bliss is joy. It is, but it is more than joy. Bliss is just like joy without attachment, and I love what I wrote here. Bliss is an energy, and it's when the flow state merges with your self-defined purpose. So when I experience bliss, I usually feel like I'm exactly where I need to be, and I am present. And by present, I mean I don't feel myself being pulled to the past or future. Um, and I just feel super happy. um, so, what does bliss feel like for you in your body, in your mind, wherever you're feeling it? And then the next thing is, when does it most often appear? For me, cooking and writing and chanting, but mostly the first two. I love cooking. It's phenomenal, and writing is amazing. So usually your hobbies or the things that you dedicate most time to are the things that will bring you bliss. So we basically in this section want to understand the our connections to the things that bring us bliss. So for the next section, we are going to be turning our bliss into a repeatable practice so that we can, if up here we were using meditation to create the spaciousness for the container of ourselves to go through completing all the things in our syllabus, the bliss is adding fire and energy to that container. So conditions that support bliss. For me, any kind of rhythmic practice, creative expression, or devotional focus with reduced distraction creates that bliss sensation. So then to specify that, what kind of practice is, for me it would be cooking, writing, and talking about writing, and so on. So just list all the things that really create that bliss for you. And then the goal is, now that you know those things, where can you plug those more in, and how can you stack them to be of most benefit? So for example, let's say one of your goals was to write your dissertation. You really want to write this dissertation, but it's so hard, and you realize the topic you chose is ridiculously difficult, and you're not enjoying it. So instead of just being like, okay, I'm gonna just write the dissertation for 5 hours every day until I finish it, before you write the dissertation, start with a bliss practice. So for me, if I was writing this horrible, terrible dissertation, before I'd sit down to write it, I'd start with making a delicious meal and sharing it with somebody I love and seeing the amazing benefit that they had by eating it. Get a little bit of a charge, then sit down and do that. And then afterwards, as a reward, once I wrote and made progress in the dissertation, then do another bliss practice, so that then I'm reinforcing the entire thing. So basically, you want to use your hobbies and the things that bring you great joy as both pre-rewards and after rewards. And you can, when it comes to these kind of things, you can't have too much of a good thing. So this is the spirit section. I didn't want to get overly woo-woo. I kind of just wanted to stick to the basics and give you all the tools to be able to keep your momentum going. So if you have any questions, or you want any of these topics to be gone in deeper before the next video, let me know. Until then, stay awesome. You are doing fantastic. Are you serious?